Specie 4K action.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, please think about subscribing. If you're interested in this sort of content, please like, comment, everything that you guys watch for the month of March. Today I'm going to be doing my list of everything that I watched for the month of March, which was 45 titles, quite a bit. I have definitely not started off April so strong, but I'm sure we'll get that corrected here in just a little bit. But long list, this usually does take a while, so I'm going to try and get through this as quickly as possible to not make this video way too long. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So the first movie that I had watched in the month of March was Training Day. I believe Training Day came out on 4K on the 28th of February. Got the steelbook, got the slipcover, and immediately put that in. What a fantastic movie. I'm just so mad at myself for never watching this before. I gave it 4.5 stars out of 5. I loved every bit of this movie. This was so much fun. Denzel Washington, it might be one of his favorite roles. It's one of my favorite roles of his for sure, even though I've only seen it once. I don't know why. For me, I love John Q. I know that's probably not a popular pick for a lot of people for Denzel Washington, but man, oh man, I put this up there with that. And that one just really pulls at the heartstrings. Anyway, on to the next one. I watched Big Trouble in Little China, the John Carpenter classic with Kurt Russell. This was a lot of fun, bizarre for sure in spots, and just kind of wacky 80s cheese fun, but I had a little good time with this. You know, it wasn't too believable or anything like that, but this was a lot of fun. Picked it up on Blu-ray. I gave it a 3 out of 5. The next movie I watched was an older Charlton Heston movie called The Stone Killer. This is from 1973. I can't really say too many good things about it. It was pretty bad, but I got a Charlton Heston 4-movie pack, and this was one of them in there. There's a couple others in there that I watched this month, but this one only got a 2.5 out of 5, so it wasn't too great. The next movie I watched was We Were Soldiers, which is one of my favorite war movies, one of my favorite Mel Gibson movies. It's about a decisive battle in the Vietnam War, and it's one of the most intense war movies I think out there. It's got a lot of scenes that can trigger post-traumatic stress for active or veteran combat soldiers. So it is intense, but it is a movie I love. I just picked it up on Blu-ray, so I did put that in and watch it right away. Another one that I picked up on Blu-ray and watched right away was another classic of mine, and this is the 1977 Paul Newman classic, Slapshot. Big hockey fan, just a big hockey movie fan, I guess you could say, as well. And this is like the classic hockey movie. If you want to see like the best rendition of what hockey is, or at least back in the day, Slapshot is so much fun. You will have a blast with it, even if you're not a fan of sports, fan of hockey. Trust me, I think you will enjoy at least parts of Slapshot because of just how ridiculous it is. But that's a 4 out of 5 for me. Maybe higher, but that's what I put it. I then watched, for the first time all the way through, Joe Pesci classic from 1992, My Cousin Vinny. Picked it up on Blu-ray. This is such a funny movie. I love it. There's not really much to say. I'm sure everyone's seen it. But yeah, this is so good. I just love the whole aspect of him being from New York, being a lawyer, coming down to the South. It's just great. Gave that 4 out of 5. I then watched Rocky 2. Of course, the Steelbook came out earlier this month. It wasn't the first or second time I've seen it. I do like Rocky 2 a lot, but it's definitely a little lower on the echelon than the first one. So I gave Rocky 2 a 3.5. But I do enjoy the movie, and I'm like a lot of other people. It's just the commercial part kind of slows it down for me, but everything else is fantastic in that movie. I next watched Dumb and Dumber, another movie I picked up in a movie pack on Blu-ray this month. It had been a long time since I'd seen Dumb and Dumber, and I think I watched the unrated version, which I'm not sure if I've seen that one before, but it's a classic movie, something from my childhood I remember watching. Maybe not something I'll put in all the time, but it's a great comedy from the 90s. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. I then watched another Charlton Heston movie. This is out of the same 4-pack that I got and this one is called Breakout. Now, this one was actually a lot better. This one had Robert Duvall in it, and what do you know? It's about Charlton Heston breaking him out of a Mexican prison. Yeah, it was fairly good. I need to watch it again. There might have been a couple parts that I missed towards the middle, but yeah, overall, I thought it was a fairly decent movie. I gave it 3 out of 5. I then watched Rocky 3 with the 4K Steelbook coming out. Again, another Rocky movie I enjoy, but it's just further down the list. This one got 3 stars, so kind of, for me, it kind of goes downhill from the first one. Yeah, no, Rocky 3 is great. So watched that. I then watched a couple of comedies. These were all part of the same 4-pack that Dumb and Dumber was in, but Wedding Crashers from 2005. It has been a while since I had seen this, and I loved it. There might be stuff in here that might not be, politically correct in this day and age, but this was so much fun. Laugh out loud, funny, ridiculous in parts. Oh man, I had so much fun with this. Christopher Walken's in this as the dad. So good. But yeah, Vince Vaughn, Owen Wilson, classic stuff. 4 out of 5 for me. I then watched Hall Pass, which this was a first time watch for me, and I had this all wrong. I don't know why, but the whole naming of Hall Pass just always made me think that it was about them like going back to high school or something. And that is not what this was at all. This was basically a hall pass, as this couple was going to give each other a week off from each other to get out any urges that they have before fully committing. But yeah, this was fun for the most part. There's a couple parts I was like, God, this doesn't need to be in here at all. But it was funny. Overall, I would say it was pretty funny. Sudeikis is in this as well, and Pam from The Office is in this. But I gave it a 3 out of 5. Not for everyone, but that one was from 2011. I then did myself a service, and I picked up Boondock Saints on Blu-ray because I've had friends in childhood always telling me about this movie, always quoting this movie. We listened to that Bleeding Through album that literally has quotes and stuff taken from this movie all throughout it, and we love every second of that. But I'd never seen the movie. So I picked it up this month, and I put it in, and again, I was slapping myself after the movie was over, going, why have I not seen this? This is so freaking fun, so good. William Dafoe is in this, and he's just absolutely ridiculous. And there was a firefight. Yeah, this movie's awesome. If you like action, violence, this is a good movie to see. Boondock Saints from '99. Please, can we get a 4K for that? That would be awesome. All right, I then watched from 1999 with George Clooney, Three Kings, another war movie I hadn't seen that I added to the collection this month, and I popped it in, and I really enjoyed this one. This is kind of based on a true story about U.S. soldiers going in and kind of stealing back the gold that Saddam Hussein stole from the Kuwait government back during Desert Storm. So yeah, this was a lot of fun. This was good. I was very surprised by it. It's shot, I think, on 16 millimeter, so it doesn't look the greatest, and that's why it probably wouldn't benefit from a 4K. I'm not sure if that's 100% accurate, but I just felt like just the way it was shot, it just doesn't. It is pretty gritty, and I'm sure that's what they were going for, but it just doesn't look like it's going to benefit much from an upgrade. But who knows? Maybe it will. Either way, Three Kings, 3.5 out of 5. Great movie, highly recommend if you haven't seen it. All right, the next movie I watched was another Charlton Heston movie. Part of that same movie pack. This is from 1975, called Hard Times. Another one, this one is where he's just broke. He's looking for work, and he basically, meets some guy that, gets him into fighting people, street fights, and they basically pay him. It was okay. Gave it a 3 out of 5, but nothing special. All right. I then watched from 2008 with, who's in this? Leonardo DiCaprio, and we have Russell Crowe. This is Body of Lies. about an operative out in the Middle East where, and then his CIA guy, Russell Crowe, and the country's kind of like telling him what to do. I don't know. It was kind of like a cat and mouse game. It was fine. I need to watch it again. It was a little long, but it was basically, him taking orders from the CIA guy, and of course, what they're hearing from the CIA and what's actually happening on the ground are two completely different things. So chaos ensues, as you can imagine, but gave it a 3 out of 5. Like I said, I need to watch that one again. I then watched Mad God. This is from 2021. This is that stop motion film that took 30 years to create. I couldn't tell you what this movie was about. It was very odd, very weird, crazy, disgusting in parts, brutal. Just a really weird stop motion animated movie with very little words in it. I can't recommend it, but it was something. I gave it a 2.5 out of 5. I then watched the brand new Adam Driver movie that came out this month, 2023, the dinosaur film called 65. I was really, really excited to go see this movie. It's a dinosaur movie. They could have done a lot of things with it. I didn't like it. I really didn't like it. 2 people survived their ship. And yeah, this is how you make a dinosaur movie boring. I mean, the runtime on this movie was like 90 minutes, and there's still parts of this movie where you're just bored out of your mind. If you're doing a dinosaur movie right, I just don't see how you can do that. I know as soon as you think dinosaurs, you think Jurassic Park, and you think action, you think people are going to die, and it just didn't happen in this. If maybe they had some survivors actually survive the crash, and the dinosaurs were picking them off one by one, maybe this would be a lot more entertaining and exciting for me. But I just couldn't like this movie. Again, 90-minute runtime, it was boring. There was really no dinosaur kills. What's the point? I mean, and people are telling me, well, you're expecting Jurassic Park. This is something different. I get that. But do we want this to be entertaining, or do we not want this to be entertaining? I mean, I'm at a loss for words. Gave it a 2.5 out of 5. I will watch it again when it comes out on physical, just to confirm that I don't like it. But this could have been so much better. It really could have. All right, moving down the list, I did watch Coraline. This is from 2009, the animated movie. Got it on Steelbook. Really, really loved that. I thought it was a standout. Music was great. The animation looked great. The story was good. A little crazy in parts, but I give it a 3.5 out of 5. Great, great, solid movie. I then watched Horrible Bosses from 2011. First time watching this all the way through. This was also part of that 4 comedy collection that I picked up. And yeah, super, super funny. A couple of parts just so ridiculous. There's, a bunch of names in this. Jennifer Aniston is in this. You got Kevin Spacey's in this. Sudeikis is in this. I can't think of the guy who's from It's Always Sunny, who's like one of the main guys in this, but it's really, really funny, and I had a blast watching it, but nothing spectacular. This was just the first one. I haven't seen the second one, but I gave it a 3 out of 5. I then watched the 1983 classic National Lampoon's Vacation, where they go to Wally World, and this was my first time watching this, I think, all the way through. I had definitely seen parts of it, but I can tell you by the end of the movie, I had that song stuck in my head. I mean, they just play it through the credits. They seem to play it through the entire movie. Holiday Road, Holiday Road. Yeah, anyway, I still got it in my head. That was fun. I liked Christmas Vacation a lot better, but this being the original, I'm sure a lot of people hold this one close to their heart, but I gave it a 3 out of 5. Did enjoy that. Another new movie that I did watch this month was Cocaine Bear. I like the name of this. When I saw the credits and everything, when I saw the trailer, I just thought the bear looked so fake, and this was going to be really bad, especially for some of the other work that's come from this director. But with a name like this, you really couldn't go wrong, and they made it to be fun. There was definitely some moments in there that I really liked, some just like oh crap moments that you weren't expecting to happen kind of in the middle of the film. But overall, it was just a fun one-time popcorn watch for me. I don't know if I'd watch this again unless it got a 4K somehow, but Yeah, it's fun. I'd highly recommend you go check it out if you haven't seen it. At least give it a watch. I think you'll have a good, fun time with it. But owning it, maybe. 3 out of 5 for me. I then watched the 1998 Mask of Zorro with Antonio Banderas and Anthony Hopkins, and of course Catherine Zeta-Jones. Such a good movie. I probably hadn't seen this since I saw it in the theaters, but I picked up the Steelbook this month and I had to watch it. So good. Absolutely recommend beyond a doubt. This is so much fun. 4 out of 5. I then watched a classic war movie I had never seen. This is from 1976 called Midway. This is the original Midway, telling the Battle of Midway. Can you imagine? This was really good. I did enjoy it. 3.5 out of 5 for me. I then watched the classic comedy from 1980, Airplane. This is one that's just part of my collection now that I just got this month, and so I had to put it in. I had seen it many times. The one-liners in this are just left and right, just constant. It's just great. If you haven't seen Airplane, I don't know what you're doing, but you need to go see that movie. Even as old as it is, you still gotta go see it. It's so great. So great. 4 out of 5 for me. We then checked out the 2003 apocalypse ending The Core, which of course got a 4K release, which is why I watched it. This is with Aaron Eckhart and Hilary Swank, I believe. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, Core, it was okay. You know, it was fun. You know, it's about them going to the center of the core to save the Earth. Just a lot of ridiculousness in this movie, just top to bottom. But you know, overall, it was pretty good. You know, they tried their best for what they had. And yes, the CGI looks terrible in 4K, but other than that, it's okay. Nothing special, nothing terrible, but it's not great. So that got a 3 out of 5. I then watched for the very first time the Tom Cruise epic 2003, The Last Samurai. And this was super good. I am again kicking myself for never seeing this movie, but yeah, this is one of my more favorite Tom Cruise movies after watching it. Just an epic about him being just a crazy fighter back in the 1800s, a warrior essentially, taking on Indians here in America, and then he gets recruited over to Japan to help them kind of set up their army against samurais and stuff. And yeah, anyway, this movie's so good. Soundtrack is fantastic by Hans Zimmer, and it's got a lot of good supporting cast in this that I recognize from other movies like Inception and Mortal Kombat and stuff. But yeah, this is a great movie. Highly recommend if you haven't seen it. That's a 4 out of 5 for me. I then watched another new movie out in theaters, Shazam! Fury of the Gods. I like this movie. I know it's getting a lot of hate. It bombed at the box office, but man, I really did like this movie. It was funny. It kept me interested. I was not the biggest Shazam fan or DC fan in any sense of the word. I don't read the comics, anything like that. But I had a blast with this movie, and I'm kind of sad and disappointed that it's done so bad. But if you get a chance to go see it and make up your own mind. But I thought this was really funny. You know, it's just classic Shazam where it's got the comedy throughout. Yeah, some of the kids kind of get annoying after a while, but they're kids. They're supposed to be. Yeah, this movie was good. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. It doesn't deserve all the hate it's getting. I liked it better than Black Adam, and I like Black Adam. Next movie that I watched was Mars Attacks. It's just a classic comedy that I love from 1996. Added it to the collection, so just had to watch it. That's a 4.5 out of 5. Great movie. I then watched Ip Man, the original from 2008 with Donnie Yen. Another movie just added to the collection. Love that movie. It's a great, newer martial arts movie. It is, you know, not in English, so you do have to read subtitles, but it is very good. I highly recommend it if you're into those type of movies. It's a 4 out of 5 for me. I then watched from 2011 called Melancholia. This was a movie over on Brad and Them streams, the WTF stream. So I did watch this one. Did not like this at all. It was very weird. the director of this movie, Lars von whatever his name is, I don't know. There's just parts of this just very weird, and just the whole wedding thing was just so odd and depressing, and just don't want to be there. But anyway, I gave it a 2 out of 5. I didn't care for this movie. All right, another new movie that I just saw this month is Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. And yeah, this was okay. This has some good kills in it. The story itself is just kind of whack and, stupid in my opinion. But, overall, there's some okay kills in it. I might watch it again just because the runtime is so short, but I wouldn't own this. Nothing that great. So for me, it's a 2.5 out of 5. All right, going down the list here, we're getting into the thick of it. So I did go see Scream 6, and although I am not the biggest Scream fan, even though I do own Scream, I have Scream 2. I actually own 2 copies of Scream. I don't have all of them. I do have the new Scream, but I didn't care for this. This was okay. It was just another Scream movie to me, set in a different location, which I guess was cool. But, it just didn't break any boundaries for me. It didn't do anything new for me. So it's just a classic standard Scream movie, and for me, it's a 3 out of 5. All right, another movie I'm kicking myself for never seeing and watching for the first time this month is from 2010, another Denzel Washington movie. This is The Book of Eli, and this was just a great time. I don't know why. I might bump the rating up to 4-star, but 3.5 I gave it. Just an awesome movie. A lot of violence, apocalyptic world. He's, trying to get this book to a place so that, it doesn't fall into the wrong hands, and it is just incredible. Really do love that movie. Great stuff. All right. The next movie I watched was Babylon. This was a second time watch for me. Got the Steelbook in. I love this movie. It is super long, but the music, everything about it, I love it. So Babylon, 3.5 out of 5 for me. I then got into one of my Shout Select titles that I picked up this month, and this was an Oliver Stone movie, a war movie I hadn't seen before. It's got William Dafoe, Tom Berenger, Charlie Sheen, and of course I'm talking about Platoon, another movie about the Vietnam War. This one a little more, on the negative side of just the costly effects of war. This one was a tough watch in parts, but yeah, very good. William Dafoe is just incredible in this. I did enjoy this movie, but it's not one of those ones I'll go back to too many times. And that was a 3 out of 5 for me. Just kind of standard run-of-the-mill. I might bump that up, but after next watch. I then went through Ip Man 2 and Ip Man 3. I did get those other 2 titles from Groove, so I did watch them. Ip Man 2 is fantastic. I gave it 3.5 out of 5. It does have Sammo Hung in it, which is great. Ip Man 3 is pretty good as well. It doesn't have Sammo Hung, but it does have Mike Tyson. I gave it a 3 out of 5. They're all enjoyable, but that first one is still, to me, the cream of the crop. Excuse me. All right, we're down into my last 6 here, so let's make this quick. So I watched a couple of the Family Guy movies that I got on Blu-ray. It's a Trap and Something Dark Side. These are their renditions of the Star Wars movies. It's a Trap is Return of the Jedi, and Something Dark Side is Empire Strikes Back. Both hilarious if you like Family Guy and if you like Star Wars. I gave It's a Trap 3.5 out of 5, and I gave Something Dark Side 4 out of 5. I had seen these movies many times before, but I finally own them, so happy about that. I then watched one new animated movie for the month that came out, and that is Batman: The Doom That Came to Gotham. This was an odd movie. I usually like a lot of these DC animated movies, but this one was just weird. It was kind of just fast-paced, jumping around a lot, and some of the side characters that you recognize their names and stuff, they're like different renditions of them. So I'm not sure entirely what was going on in this, but it wasn't exactly what I thought it was, but it was okay, but it wasn't anything I'm super hyped about. It's just run-of-the-mill for me, 2.5 out of 5. Okay, and then I watched one of my favorite comedies of all time. I watched South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. I picked that up on physical, so needed to watch that one. That's a 4.5 out of 5 for me. Probably not for a lot of people, but for me it was. I then watched some scary movies. I watched the original Scary Movie, which had been so long since I've seen. Of course, this is the comedy I'm talking about from 2000. A lot of jokes probably don't fit in today, but they're still really funny and just kind of takes you back to that time. I gave Scary Movie 3 out of 5. I then watched Scary Movie 3. I did watch part of Scary Movie 2, but I fell asleep, so I didn't add it to the list. But Scary Movie 3 is another one from start to finish I watched, and one of the ones I always watched as a kid. Now, I still don't put it that high up. I only gave it 3 out of 5, but it was still fun to watch. And if you're into those, making fun of the horror movies at those times, I'd definitely highly check it out. And the Scary Movie, it's funny, not all, maybe it was Scary Movie 2, but they don't only just make fun of horror movies, they also make fun of like commercials and stuff at the time. And they did that one, and twins, I don't know if you remember that. That was a Bud Light commercial back in the day, and just something they wouldn't ever do today. But yeah, that brought me back. Anyway, off to my last movie. So the last movie on the month of March that I watched was another Blu-ray pickup that I got. I think it was $4 from Best Buy. And that was the 1997 Ice Cube and Jennifer Lopez classic, Anaconda. Yes, with Jon Voight. This movie was a lot cheesier and B-rate than I remember. The snake looks absolutely horrendous. CGI just looks so bad. I mean, of course, it's 97. Kind of I wouldn't call a low-budget film, but it probably wasn't the highest budget. It's got some ridiculous lines in it that I don't remember that I enjoyed, but all in all, I was like, this movie's just It's a 3 out of 5. It's been a while since I've seen it. I didn't like it as much as I remember, but happy to have it in the collection. So that's it, guys. Long list as usual. These usually take a while to get through, so I definitely appreciate you hanging in there. If you did watch all the way through this video, let me know in the comments some videos or movies that you watched this month. Anything you recommend, whether it be new or old. I'm always up for recommendations. I have a decent list of movies I need to watch, but I do try to get through them pretty quickly. So yeah, shoot something over. I'd be more interested to check it out. And yeah, guys, follow me on Letterboxd if you haven't already. Constantly posting, what movies I'm watching. I've been pretty consistent as far as this year. Just adding them as soon as I watch them, so I've been really good at that. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Really do appreciate it. Hope everyone's week is going well. Weekend is right around the corner, so stay tuned for some more awesome physical media content. We'll see what else is on the docket, but yeah, I know everyone's excited for Tim's 90 stream on Saturday. I know I am, so definitely look forward to seeing everyone over there on Saturday. If not, everyone have a safe Thursday, and we'll see you on the next one.